Hey guys, so Halloween time is just finished up at Disneyland and it's time to start planning for your holiday trips. And as many of you probably are aware, the holidays are the busiest time of year at Disneyland, which means a lot of crowds. And a lot of crowds at Disneyland can be really annoying. So I want to go over a few ways to help you beat the crowds at Disneyland and save you a ton of time. The first one is kind of obvious, but it's not the easiest, and that's to just pick a different time of year to go. Holiday times at the Disneyland Resort actually run from early November into January, and so if you were to come to Disneyland in early November or early December, there's a fraction of the crowds, but all the holiday offerings are exactly the same, so you won't be missing out on anything except the crowds. One thing you definitely want to do is you want to plan your days out before you get to the parks. If you don't have a plan in mind, you are going to end up wasting a lot of time. Those plans can change as you go along through the day, but have an idea of when you want to eat, where you want to eat, where you want to be at certain times of day. Are there any parades or shows that you want to see, so that you have some idea in your head of what you want to be doing next when you get off a ride. This goes without saying, but obviously you also want to take advantage of the FastPass system. During really busy times at the parks, FastPasses can go super quick at the really popular attractions. Like, it's not uncommon for FastPasses at the Indiana Jones adventure to be gone around lunchtime. So when you get to the parks, figure out what attractions with FastPasses you feel are the most important for you and get FastPasses for those early. Sometimes you may still have to wait a few hours before you can come back on your return window, but you should be able to get another FastPass before you use that first one. If you're not super familiar with how FastPasses work, I have another video that goes over some basics on them, and also there's a couple links in the description to help you out. Now, it's also important for you to avoid the peak times in the park, so you're not trying to get on all the attractions the same time that everybody else is, because that's when the lines are all really way long. Crowds tend to pick up at Disneyland at about 11 a.m. and again at about 5 p.m. If you're in the parks before 11 a.m., you'll beat most of the locals, and the wait times will be really short. You won't even really need a lot of FastPasses yet. And then again at about 3 p.m., that's when a lot of the daytime parades are going on. People are watching those instead of going on rides. That's another time to take advantage of those thinner crowds. One thing that we always do as well is we plan our meal times at strategic times. So we never have lunch at 12 and we never have dinner at 5. We will have lunch either earlier or later, and we'll have dinner either earlier or later. Not only is it easier to get a reservation at those times because very few people are trying to get tables, but you're then eating lunch while everyone's on a ride, and then you're on rides when everyone else is eating lunch. Here's also what we do in the evenings. Come about 5 o'clock or so, if we don't already have a FastPass for a really big attraction, we don't try to get on any big attractions. We might do some of the small ones, but things like Space Mountain, Thunder Mountain, Radiator Springs Racers, California Screamin', we just don't tend to do those in the evenings because the lines are too long and we can't get a FastPass. Those are usually good times to go shopping or to even go back to your hotel and relax for a couple of hours. I generally discourage at any time of year, but especially at the holidays, to stay late. That is when crowds are crazy and you're probably just gonna end up tearing your hair out. After you watch the fireworks, just go back to your hotel, get a good night's sleep, and come back early the next day while everyone else is still in bed. One more thing that's really gonna help is if you understand the one-way systems that cast members use. When it gets really busy, cast members create one-way routes throughout the park to help traffic move a lot smoother. If you don't know how these work, you can find yourself trying to go the wrong way, and then you have to add an extra 5 or 10 minutes to go back around and go the correct way. If you want to head into the west end of the park, you can only go into Frontierland. If you want to come back from the west end of the park, you can only come out through Adventureland. Even if you're wanting to just go into the Jungle Cruise, you have to go into Frontierland and then just kind of make a quick left into Adventureland. They will not let you into the main entrance of Adventureland. At the entrance to Tomorrowland, they also have one side that's in and one side that's out. So By Star Tours is in and By Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters is out. If you're wanting to get through New Orleans Square or get to Critter Country, stay down closer to the rivers of America. All those extra garden areas, they tend to use those for extra line space for the Haunted Mansion Holiday and Pirates of the Caribbean, and so it gets way too congested in this really narrow walkway. If you go down towards the rivers of America, there's a little bit more space. Also, the central hub, it kind of becomes a roundabout with all the traffic typically going counterclockwise around it. All right, so there are just a few really quick, simple tips to help you get around the parks a little bit easier during the holidays. If you have any other suggestions or tips for people, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and we will see you guys next week. For more tips and tricks until then, just visit us at DisneylandForever.com. All right, see you guys.